You know, when you have been Minister of Finance, you are associated with all the activities of line ministries. So you may be Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Fishing, or Minister of Mining. So I'm a civil servant, and I'm prepared to do everything I'm asked to do. Second, I'd like to emphasize what you did say about the program committee. I would like to confirm that ARC has been receiving resources from abroad for quite some time, but ARC has been maintaining its independence. I've been part of the program committee. I know how the research program were designed, how the research persons were working, and all stakeholders, donors, researchers, trainees, they all share one agenda: building capacity on the continent. So ARC doesn't have any hidden agenda. The only agenda is why we are here today, to build capacity of the continent. And I'm happy that this conference has been taking place at this time. This provides me with the opportunity to come back to Nairobi, but also to ARC. Hopefully, I will have other opportunities, because I'm a little bit relieved now, because I'm no more operational minister. I'm advisor, so I have a little bit more time for research and for reflection. By the way, I have started to try to write something about my different tenure, because I have been privileged to be working under free president in Guinea, from military to transition to elected president. So I had to find my way through the system, but fortunately, since I don't have any other agenda other than serving the country and the continent, so I'm happy that I've been around for quite some time, and I will be available to come back to Nairobi or to IRC anytime. The theme of this conference is timely because there is a certain pessimism. This is growing now about the sustainability of Africa growth story after almost 2 decades of strong progress on the continent. We all know that at the exception of few countries, growth rate is declining on the continent, and this may be perhaps there for quite some time. China is engaged in a transition. The growth rate of 13%, this is for the past, this history. Now China is almost like us, 5-6% growth rate every year. And this has a big bearing on commodity price, on oil price, on iron ore. I'm coming from a country, Guinea, where we are relying heavily on commodity price, iron ore, bauxite, and we have been obliged to change most of our policies because iron ore was more than $100 a ton. Today it is below $50. This is huge adjustment. This means that our countries have to take strong adjustment measures. These adjustment measures require, for me, first of all, strong leadership, and 2, consistency and free dialogue among all stakeholders. We need strong leadership for decisive response to the crisis. Some countries may be tempted to actually buy time, but unfortunately, reality is there. And sometimes the previous errors may come back regarding fiscal deficit, regarding central bank borrowing, regarding manipulation of exchange rate and interest rate. So that's why I say that we need strong leadership to make sure that we have the right policies in place to confront the situation, not only at macro level, but also at sectoral level. Agriculture, of course, is key for the continent. The crisis that is looming now show that we need to diversify our economies. 3/4 of the population is living in the rural area. We cannot ignore it. So we need to make sure that agriculture is going to be the basis if Africa is going to rebound on the economic side. Agriculture requires, of course, consistent policies on the whole value chain, from irrigation to market. When I talk about market, it's not only national market, but it's also about regional market. We have to agree among ourselves to work on the basis of comparative advantage. We cannot produce the same crops everywhere. In the region, we may decide that you, Kenya, you have comparative advantage in vegetables, in flowers, then we follow you. You, Uganda, you have an comparative advantage. So if we could work on this basis, then the sense of market will be consistent. Otherwise, we are going to produce the same thing and the price will be going down. So I do believe that our leaders have agreed to allocate 10% of the budget to agriculture. But what for? What for? That is very important. What for? We need to make sure that we have infrastructure, feeder road, market facilities, logistics. If our people want to export, we have to make sure that we have airlines available. We have to make sure that in respective countries where we are exporting, the facilities are there to receive our product. Otherwise, they may be spoiled. So consistency is important for this adjustment policy. Third, of course, financing. We have to find ways to find innovative way to finance not only agriculture, but also urban workers. In this sector, I think the central bank has a big role to play. Today, there are a lot of innovations have been starting without central bank, mobile banking and so on. What to do? There's a tension in central banks to regulate or to let people evolving freely. I do believe that central bank have to support what is working well. Mobile banking is working well, but there is a need to make sure that the relation between mobile banking and the banks are going well, to make sure that there is no failure in the system. Otherwise, people will be discouraged and the system will stop. On the other hand, the central banks should not manipulate interest rate, because when you have crisis, you may be tempted to have overvalued exchange rate, and this will discourage local production. The exchange rate is key to show exactly where the value of the economy of a country. If it is overvalued, then you're going to import more than you can support. Interest rate, the same thing. I heard that in Kenya there is a cap on interest rate. I don't know the exact context, but broadly speaking, based on best practices, based on lessons learned, I do believe that interest rate and exchange rate should be dictated along the market, along what is working. Otherwise, I'm afraid will be facing black market, and that will be very dangerous for the country. Black market, we know all that black market has been there. Official exchange rate where, let's say, 100 shilling for $1, and when we manipulate exchange rate, this may go in the black market to 200, 300, 400, and no one can plan its activities in front of this kind of manipulation. The same thing for interest rate. Banks are providing loans on the basis of risk. The risks are there in the urban area as well as in rural areas. So if the interest rates are manipulated, the banks may be willing to provide loans, and when we talk about inclusivity, this may not happen because the risk will be very high for banks. So my recommendation, I don't know if this conference is going to address the issue in the course of the research, but somehow we have to perhaps send some sort of smooth message to policymakers regarding this kind of decisions, because Kenya is very important in the region. Kenya is very important on the continent, and Kenya is about best practices. If Kenya has problems, I'm sure that neighboring countries are going to have problems also. Last but not least, I think that dialogue and collaboration are key. Dialogue between researchers and policymakers, but also with private sector. This morning, there was a very nice lady here talking about her business, and I think what she said did have sense. So we need to promote the dialogue between policymakers, private sector and researchers. I do hope that this conference will provide the starting point of this dialogue. And like I said, I'm prepared to come back anytime you want me to come back. Collaboration between ARC and other partners. Yesterday, I was mentioning to our friend Lema that ARC may perhaps not have the resources to have branches everywhere on the continent, but ARC may partner with local institutions across the continent, in Ivory Coast, in Cameroon, in South Africa, and this may help ARC to know exactly what's going on the ground, but also to build the capacity of these research institutions at a country level. So dialogue, collaboration, but without losing the independence of ARC. ARC should partner with local institutions as well as with institutions abroad while retaining its independence. So I have learned a lot during this conference. I do believe that this is a very important milestone for agriculture, for innovation in finance, but also innovation in industry. I do hope that your work with DFID will produce a product we could be able to appreciate very soon. I don't know the framework of your assignment, but we are really keen to receive very, very quickly the outcome of your deliberation. So this said, I would like really to thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm happy to see that a lot of people are still in this room despite that time is running out. So thank you very much, and I wish you all the best for the future collaboration between you and DFID. Thank you.